At Get Haunted and Get Haunted Midwest, we don't just put on events, we give you an experience. Grab the gear, master the methods, use the tools the professionals use to bridge the gap. From the Estes method to traditional seances, you aren't just watching the investigation, you're part of it.
Repeat peanut butter.
Capture the evidence, hear the voices, experience the history firsthand. Every event is structured so you rotate through the most active spots, learning from the best. The spirits are waiting. Secure your tickets now at extremeticketing.com. Ready to join the hunt? Here's where we'll be. Join Get Haunted and Get Haunted Midwest at these historic locations. Tickets for all events are available now at extremeticketing.com. Don't be left in the dark.
Extreme ticketing.
Extreme. Don't be left in the dark. You know, for the 3 people watching, it's a dance party during that in the back behind the stage. What's that? Once the beat starts going,
Yeah, you can't almost help it.
You can't
right?
almost help it. You
No.
almost can't help it either.
You almost can't help it.
You can't almost help it. What's up, hippie?
Hey,
What's up?
I'm bringing it back. This is like,
I like it.
this was my thing for the longest time. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm bringing
So, for those that haven't met Sarah in person yet,
Mhm.
she has a really tiny head. It's, like, it's really like only that big.
Is it
I-
really
I don't
that
know.
tiny?
I almost put your. Remember when I picked up the wrong hat and
Mhm,
tried to put your hat on, and
mhm.
on me, it was more like a yarmulke than a hat.
Yeah, I do have a smaller head. I don't have a giant head.
No, you don't. It's a teeny tiny head. I mean, it matches you, but
Yeah, like don't make me sound like a pea head.
no,
And like,
you don't look like that little Martian character.
hey Tom, and there's Stacy.
Yeah, clearly Sunday. Everybody's at church tonight
Mhm,
or
mhm.
8 o'clock mass. Yeah, so I know this is a surprise for some.
Surprise!
So we have Stacy here, we have Tom Bolger, and
Somebody
one
else.
viewer, one anonymous viewer. Curious. Someone that's
Yeah.
curious about.
Why we're going?
Oh, there's 4 people who joined. Identify yourself.
Identify. No, we were just like, we have questions, we have conversations to be had, and
Questions and conversations to be had. Now there are 5.
yeah. Hey, Denise.
Denise Pack is 1, so there's two lurkers. Susan Ahern. Wow. Hey Susan, I noticed you don't like my posts anymore, and it hurts me.
Is that what this is? You're just going to call people out as they
Yes.
show up?
Yes, I did notice. Believe it or not, that's how you know I like you. By the way, when I get mad for you not liking my posts. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot who I was a co-host with.
That's not why we're here. Okay, we're not
No,
here.
we're not going to fight tonight.
No.
We've had a lovely 2 days. Fight free. Not quite, but
I don't know. Wouldn't be a day, right?
wouldn't be a normal day without Sarah getting mad.
Okay. Yeah.
Parts.
Yeah.
8 people now. Hello, everybody.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello. We know about
Hello.
50% identification rate right now.
Oh my God. You're going to go through the stats.
Yes. People are nervous.
Are they?
Let
They
me start
should
my
be.
spreadsheet.
Start it. Go ahead and put. Do you have a PowerPoint for tonight?
Something else, Sarah, bust my chops about.
Your idiots.
Salerno's here. Amanda Lambert.
Oh, hey.
Oh, Susan.
Ooh.
That, you know what? Yeah, this is the argument I have with Sarah. there's a reason. There's a reason. The algorithm isn't.
Okay, but that's not what this show is about. We're not going to go
I'm
over.
calling everybody out. Amanda doesn't like my posts either. Lori, I see Lori's doing something.
I saw she's in Connecticut. She is somebody that she respects. I believe they're going and talking about haunted Connecticut.
Yeah,
Lori, yeah.
Haunted Connecticut.
I thought that's what I saw. I did see that.
I'm not making fun. I'm just repeating what you said.
No, I know. I don't think
sounds cool. It sounds like a book or a magazine.
I believe the person that she's speaking with, tell me if I'm wrong, Lori, I believe it's an author.
He is. Yeah, I can't remember his name though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he likes me.
Well, I think there's so many events. There's so much going on. It's hard sometimes to keep that information straight in your head, right?
It's so not easy at this age.
No.
Just so everybody on the side is aware, there's a really, really good show on Netflix called Something Very Bad. Charles Rosenay, thank you. Yeah, because it reminds me of wine. Like his name should be, he should be a wine.
Rose all day.
He should have a rose, Charles Rosenay.
Rosenay.
There's a show on Netflix called Something Very Bad Is Going to Happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really good.
Yeah, it is. It's excellent.
I made Sarah watch it. She actually finished it before I could, which that kind of, it took a little bit of the fun out of discussing the ending. I mean,
because I watched it first.
Yes, you do this to me all the time.
Are you?
And
what does it matter?
Because I like to experience things simultaneously.
No, this isn't going to be a show about Something Very Bad Is Going to Happen. But I did enjoy it, and I was glad to know. I was glad not to know that it was by the makers of Stranger Things, which I've never watched one single one, nor do I have the desire. But it was really well done.
It's really good. I didn't know that either until you told me that today. Hi, Eric.
Flipping my
man. So yeah, watch it. It's on Netflix. Something very bad is going to happen. It'll keep you intrigued for.
Yeah. Well, what happened though? Honestly, it's 8.
Is it 8?
Yeah, it's 8. You told me to watch it, so I watched one before I fell asleep on Friday night.
Yeah.
And I freaked myself out a little bit. And people go either way, and it's okay. Like I can't tell somebody else if they're going to like it. I enjoyed it. It's my type of movie, or series. So I freaked myself out a little bit. And then Saturday I was like, okay, I'm going to sit. I think I was eating something at the kitchen counter, and I was like, I'm just going to watch this on my laptop. And the next thing you know, I'm like 4 more episodes in. Yeah. I'm like, I was ripping through them.
Yeah.
Ripping through them.
It's easy to binge watch that one. Because they do keep you on the hook, but it's really good. It's a lot of things. It's paranormal, whatever, psychological. There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
I've heard parts of, I don't know which dragon books. Danny listens to these dragon books all the time, and she talks to them. She even cries sometimes when certain characters have issues.
Did she want you to share that?
Oh, I don't know.
I
mean, she loves the books. They're really cool. They're for her. They're really cool. But I know some of the characters now by name. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna talk tonight, and hopefully keep it all. Let's see who's messaging to warn me about shit.
It's Danny going, why did you say that?
He's talking about me.
Tell me when everything's okay.
Yeah, everything's okay.
Okay.
Just muting everything so that there are no distractions during our amazing dialogue that we're about to have.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, Oh, what?
Before we start.
Yeah.
I went to the movies today. Another thing worth seeing, if you haven't, is called Hail Mary. It's about space. And Death. It's a good movie, so watch it.
You really sold it. It's like I'm in death and
I'm
space.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just didn't want that. I have to get things out of my
Your head.
brain sometimes.
Yeah.
We just lost 3 people because I brought that up.
They're like, bye.
Bye.
No, I get it though, having to get it out of your head, because that's kind of what's been happening to me, really.
I know.
You know, and the last time I tried to have this kind of conversation, it went over like a lead balloon.
Listen, there's a place for lead balloons.
There's a place, there's time and place for everything, I would assume.
I love lead balloons, apparently. So let's keep going.
Yeah, I mean, like, which direction shall we start? Like, why don't you pick a?
Why me? Because, well, first of all, you were like, you want to go live tonight? And I was like, yeah, let's go live. So
Yeah,
here we are. 6. We're down to 6. We just lost 2 more.
Yeah, they're like, no, thank you.
Can't
Well,
do it.
you know, I think, you know, we all kind of do things so differently in the paranormal, right? And, you know, I've just been kind of thinking a lot as an observer to a lot of what happens. Hey, Kaylee, love your new hair, Kaylee. You know, it kind of just makes me sit back and start asking more questions, which you got an earful today. I think I called. I'm like, can I call? And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I just like was on a roll, right? Like
yeah, but that's what you do. It's not like unusual for Sarah. She's very like this in terms of information, then no information for a week, then lots of information.
Yeah, it's been in my head. You know, I think a lot of what we do in the paranormal, you know, I start thinking about, and it's not that I think of other people. It's also what I am aware that I do when we go on these investigations, and sort of how we speak on shows and what we encourage others to do. But then when we get into the investigation, it kind of all just flies out the window a little bit, right?
Well, it does, you know, and I think since the launch of Inner Eye, right, like we put a lot into planning the Inner Eye and even the Bail events that we do now. But with the planning comes, you know, like we kind of
reflection.
There's planning, right? But it does get your brain moving, and when you have to stand up in front of people, and they're not lectures, they're
shares,
conversations, right? It's it's about bringing, you know, thoughts out and getting people talking. Well, that's what the Inner Eye is really for us, Denise. It's not an event, you know. It's an event in the sense that we rented a location and people show up. But the actual.
But I know what she's saying.
Yeah, like, I know what she's saying too. Yeah, I would love to, and I have. You know, I just don't. Right now, I don't have a fucking lot of time. But I think the planning and the execution of the Inner Eye is kind of bubbled all this stuff up into your thoughts.
It really has. And you know, there's a third person that does this with us, and that is Brittany, and she isn't here. And this really isn't about the Inner Eye.
No.
But you're right. I think what's happened is, you know, which I love, it is just all the questions that come forward and more questions. And I think it, you know, my take would be, if your sort of paranormal isn't sort of ebbing and flowing or changing all the time. I mean, we get kind of, some of the things I'm going to say, just so everybody knows, like, these are my thoughts that I've written down, but, you know, we get comfortable in our certainty, right?
Well, it becomes a routine.
Yeah.
You know, when it becomes, and that was, I think, what prompted the veil method, right, was just like the routine. We go in, we say hello, we sit down, then it's Rob. Can you do EVPs with your
Mhm.
fake ass recorder? And then we do EVPs, and we get amazing fake evidence with my fake recorder, right? Which Ernie actually called me the other night, just crazy ass weird stories, but yeah, there was an EVP from the Ditto House that actually is now tied to a painting. So I'll tell you about it after the show.
Oh, I
But,
love that. I love
yeah,
that.
it's really cool.
Yeah, I think, so I have a lot of questions about what it is. And some of this did come from having conversations through the clubhouse, which there were only two. Um, and I love that. What I loved about that specific space is that it was one that it was free, it was 100% free, but you did have to sign in and sign
Register.
up.
Yeah.
Register, thank you, in order to join. And I think having that freedom, to know that who's in there, who's in there. And I held total control of that. Like if a name didn't look comfortable to me, I'm sorry, but this was sitting down with friends and having them share some of their more vulnerable moments, right? But as much as I love that space to share their stories, the reality is, for a long time now, for almost 4 years, I've helped you create space here and Get Haunted to lift those voices that needed a lift. Those people that didn't feel comfortable to always come to the front of the room and speak, and gave them that microphone, right, to say, like, you count. And so for many years, I spent most of my time encouraging, but not really also doing the same thing for myself.
I would have to agree.
So I'm kind of there now, right, where it's like, you don't have to like my questions, but my questions are never meant as a trap, so to speak, right? My questions really are curiosity, and also to help spark conversations to come up with more questions from you, from me, wherever these questions are coming from, to also ask myself, right? Because I don't have the answers. But that's part of the fun of this, is to actually get out of the comfortable space. I mean, we're in the paranormal. It's already not comfortable, right?
Yeah. Well, apparently, right. I do, I see post after post from all different people who, and then people coming in the comments, saying, yeah, I was going to walk away from this. I think people don't feel safe or comfortable in a lot of situations talking about their experiences, their beliefs, how they go about things. I think you're frozen. All right, you're back. How they investigate and interpret whatever. So that's really, and this isn't an Inner Eye commercial, and we probably should, but that's really, one of the beautiful parts of the Inner Eye is, and we've watched it now on the 2 we've done, people start talking and sharing, and maybe bringing out some things that they just felt silly talking about until they found that space. So I'm very, very proud of it so far.
Well, no, Stacy, it's not that we're having to explain the reason for having questions, but Stacy, that alone right there. And I know Stace kind of does his thing, and he does not give a shit. Like
zero F's about it, about what people say. It's not where the paranormal is at, it's where people are at. And I believe people are at because of things inside of the paranormal. We'll get to it. I think what Sarah, some of the things that I know about, at least for tonight, that she might say, might explain some of that.
Yeah, but I don't think it's explaining the reason for questions. But Stacey, I think that's just it. When you pose questions, um, to me, what I'm seeing is, especially with social media, is so many of us have built a following, a business, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say character, right? But so much has been built upon certain stories. So when you start to question, right, it becomes uncomfortable. And to me, I think I rather sit in a room with people and say, like, everything is pliable here because none of us have the answer. So it really is about asking questions of each other, and experiences, and to gain deeper understanding to
What's
what
the,
we're doing, right?
yeah, I don't even know if it's understanding. It's thought, right? Like
Mhm.
understanding why you're doing it and where you're trying,
Mhm.
what you're poking at. But I don't know if they'll. Yeah, I agree. Yes, never mind.
Yeah. So explaining, and I probably, and I could admit this, I probably am a little bit over explaining that piece of it because I did get I got smacked a little bit for the Wednesday Live. And it did make me kind of go, wow, okay, well, don't speak too loud, or don't ask too many questions, because it gets people questioning who you are. And if you've been around me long enough, I'm going to have questions. I mean, I
Yeah.
just do.
Well, and yeah, go
But
ahead.
no, speak.
No, I think 90. I've done this to you, right? Hey, Jay. And those questions are all good until it lands in your own space, right? And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, what the fuck? um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I can see how and why, but I guess what's lost there was the intent of the question or the conversation. It wasn't about anybody. It was about um, a topic. Could have been any topic.
Yeah, they're really all topical, but I think when we start talking about, like, one thing that you and I kind of talked about a little bit later this afternoon was, you know, we go into very famously haunted locations, right? Famous stories attached to them. And, we simply sort of go in there. We talk about, it turned into identity politics. Yeah. Um, I think, okay, this is where I get confused. So I'm just going to put it out there. So you oftentimes hear investigators or researchers or explorers or the curious, right? We all say the same thing sometimes, which is, we go into these locations and, you bring to it, right? You bring your own baggage into these investigations, and intention, and oh, we must be aware. But we kind of walk through those doors, and what do we find ourselves doing? And I think it's without thinking, by the way. We walk through those doors and we try to replicate or repeat or regurgitate the same story that's been playing over and over again. But I'm always curious, why? Why do we give one piece of advice, but when we walk in, and I can give you a perfect example. And I know your story pretty freaking well with the Conjuring House, I would say.
Yeah, probably better than anybody.
Yet I went in there, everything that I told you, some I don't really remember what I asked you, but everything I told you, I went into there with an expectation to experience something that I had no business going in there to have an expectation about. I totally set aside all the things we've ever said to other people.
In some ways, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would say yes. Like, see, for me, because you and I both had very different verdict for on that night. I think not very different, but it was different.
Mm-hmm.
Because I only wanted one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I asked for one thing. And that thing happened at the end of the night. I thought that was cool. But we both got to sit and watch total.
Yes, but that's what I'm talking about, though. You go to the Conjuring house, and I've heard all the stories in the basement. I've heard all the big emotions, all the big reactions from not just you, from multiple people.
I know, yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I walked into that house kind of going, not getting it. I don't get the fear. I don't get it. The basement. The only thing that freaked me out about the basement truly was the snake skins hanging around. I was like, what the hell am I getting myself into there? But so I think this is where I feel bad for us as investigators that we talk about awareness and we go in there as investigators as if we're really going to go over this location with a fine-tooth comb, but yet we don't. We look for the repeated stories from multiple people from on multiple platforms.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. Hey, I'm going to share the referral link. If you feel like spending $400 a month on StreamYard, you can sign right up.
There you go. So that's kind of where I started, right? Like I was really thinking about a little bit of the conversations that happen between investigators, and then I watch how we sort of gravitate to some of those bigger stories. Yet we keep saying that when you go into these locations, right, it's a reflection of you. It's a reflection of you. But we can't all have this same reflection.
No. We can't. I hope not.
Well, so it's what?
I know when people look in the mirror, they really want to look like me.
Oh, is that what they do?
Yeah. I mean,
so we even talked about that today as well, you know, holding that mirror up to your own face when you're looking at an actual physical mirror and the things that you see, right? We say this all the time. My God, I wish you could see you through my eyes, because we start picking out all those little things we don't like. And we think this looks really off, where somebody else is like, oh my God, I think it's one of the most beautiful things about you. That is something that we can so-called prove, because I'm looking at myself in the mirror going, do you not see this? And somebody else could be like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. That's happening in real time. So if that's the case with perception, and then we go into these locations, how often do we want to sit with what a location could be offering us as a reflection? No, you can talk here. Don't.
I'm not. I'm just you. I need you to jump in. If we're jumping in, then jump in. But I get your point, right? So especially about because I hate the way, like when I hear myself on a show or audio, that's not what I sound like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But
it's what you sound like to me.
But it's not, though.
It's what, right. So
no, I know. So it's one of those things, right? Susan thinks I'm funny. Or you. I don't know. So I believe what you're saying cautiously. Say what you're saying? Like, get at it.
well, what do you think I'm getting at there? I want to know if I'm like, help me out here.
Maybe we should reschedule this, because
no, can you help me out? Because you're just like sitting there. I need you to help me out a little bit. Talk back to me.
So
Stacey's like,
my own theories about your whole Conjuring House experience, but that's Stacey. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. it's not about my Conjuring House experience. What I'm trying to get at
I
here
know, Sarah.
is
Uh-oh.
why do we need to repeat? What is the point? What is the point of repeating a story over and over again
Okay.
from a famously haunted location? And what does that prove outside of people will, from pure suggestibility, will have that experience because they were told that's what's going to happen there?
Right. So and if
What's the question again? I know, Laura. There's a lot of questions and it's not one specific. I'm trying to pick apart. And again, this is not on anybody. I'm not slamming anybody on the side here. This is about even myself, but watching investigators out there, what is the paranormal community trying to achieve by having the same experience at these locations over and over again?
Okay. So, hey, Kent, if you're still watching, I know Kent always says hi. I don't know if he sticks around. Like Kent is a person, in my eyes, how I view you, Kent, as somebody that does try to maybe document or replicate a story from a location. That's just how I see you. I've never investigated with you. I don't know, but just based on your posts and things that Kent has said, I think there are some, right, and they tend to be the people that give us shit who view a haunting as a historic piece versus a universal piece, right? Or it can be nothing other than the story that is attached to a location, right? I think there are some people that do view it that way, and if you go back and like if you watch Ghost Hunters, right, for all those years, or any of the shows, so they go out there and then they send their one person off to the town historian and they sit down and they're like tying shit to things that happen on or near the property, to the house next door, to whatever, right? And it becomes very much a paranormal historical research session and replication session in some cases, and that no matter how you slice and dice that is also part of the front loading issue that we talk about, right? Like, and in my case, it was a big issue having stories and things, and let's be honest, a lot of history is incorrect, right? So, and I think that would be a really good study too, right? Is we have the incorrect history, and does it get replicated via paranormal experiences?
Well, we know that actually does happen. If you don't follow Craig Owens, he actually is somebody in the paranormal that not a lot of location owners love him, because he does go after the actual history and he will give you where the origin of the other stories come from that get attached to those locations. I don't want to necessarily say they're fake, but they do bring notoriety to certain locations. And so they use it because it brings people to the location. So I don't know if Denise is still here, but I am curious, as a location owner, would you prefer to keep and I do know that they do this, do you prefer to keep your history authentic, even if it means you're not going to be one of the top 3 that everybody's going to want to go to, right?
Yeah, look, I mean, that the stories attached to places are part of the lore, right, and part of the attraction. But what happens, I think, in those cases, right, with Conjuring House being one of them, it shuts out all of the other possible
amazing things that could happen.
Or explanations. So it is offering familiarity and comfort of knowing an outcome predictably when the paranormal is not predictable or controllable. And I think there should be even another line there. It's not always historical. It can be, right? It can be. There's the stories of, the figure walking the same path, like a residual type. God, I was looking for that word yesterday. I couldn't remember it. But a residual type thing. But I think, and I know you think, in many cases, it's not that. It is something entirely
But she says when paranormal is not predictable or controllable, and it shouldn't be. That's the beauty and the beautiful part of paranormal. So why, as the living that are choosing to be in something that's not predictable or controllable, why? And I look, this is more rhetorical than it is an actual answer, because psychology wise, we can figure this out. But why, if we're going to be in something like the paranormal, if we're going to choose this as our study of passion, it's not predictable, it's not controllable, it's not provable, then why do we fall to familiarity? Why do we not stay in the uncomfortableness of the unpredictability?
Well, there's probably a lot of reasons, right? I can surmise that one of those is that there are some I think there's this built-in desire for some investigators to be the one that documents and proves that the story's been right all along, right? Or or it, in all reality, it could be the other way around, because and probably is in some cases when this happens, is something happens and then we make that story fit to it, even though it could be entirely wrong.
Right.
But
no,
Susan's right, and nor should it shouldn't. Once it becomes predictable, then it's not even paranormal anymore. It's just normal. If we know every Thursday, the ghost of Grandpa Jim grabs a beer at the bar down the road, well, it's not paranormal anymore. It's a normal occurrence.
Right. Which I think it is probably more normal than we realize. But I know we do it because we're human, and I understand that it's the human experience to be in control, but is it? See, I don't know if I agree with that, Susan. I think the human experience, to feel like it is to be in control, that is something we've learned. I think being out of control and having more wonder is what we've lost. And I think that when I think of the paranormal now, I think of all the things, like we have all this new equipment, right? Like people are constantly coming up with new equipment, but yet we hold on to thoughts and practices from cultures centuries ago. So we evolve some things, but we use history because that we say, well, we can validate. We're going to validate with history. I like some of this just doesn't resonate for me anymore. Like, I know there's a place for history, and I know that some of the history, like I can use Cashtown as a perfect example for me, being at Cashtown, having the experience I did, and somehow connecting with two women that don't even get a lot of high marks at that location. They're not somebody spoken about. Their piece of the history of Cashtown is not spoken about or honored.
Yep. No, it took some digging to even find out that they actually existed. It was cool. It was amazing to watch in real time. If that was them, right? We think so, but that was one cool ass piece. So I guess to your point, right? So their piece of history is not important enough because the bigger names, right, that stayed there are the ones that get spoken about or talked about or revered. Go ahead.
So, which then leads me into what are we talking about? We're talking about a little bit of everything here. We're just kind of, I'm throwing questions out, Adam. things
don't
that
know.
go through my head. I don't know Adam either. Welcome. Hello.
I thought you knew him.
No, hello, welcome. But I think, you know, some of this stuff, then you start to go back. Like I start to take things like, you know, we hear it, we hear somebody especially notable say it, and okay, that must be it. And you roll with it. But then all of a sudden I kind of like, I have to like put on the brakes, and it's like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense to me. And it's okay, just because it doesn't make sense to me, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm trying not, okay, perfect example. Many of us in the paranormal kind of step out of our religion to even be in the paranormal, because if you're highly Christian, doing this is not exactly encouraged, right? So we step outside of our religion because, well, I don't believe everything they're telling me at church, because I know what I've experienced and there's something more out there. But then we turn around and we make the paranormal as rigid as religion, and we don't allow for it. Oh, hi, Adam.
Oh,
So we don't allow for that unpredictability of the paranormal. We're like, nope, religion's too rigid. I have to step outside of it into the paranormal. And then we're like, now we must put a lot of rules on the paranormal people because, you know, I need predictability and comfortability. Like, isn't that why we're in the
you're flailing.
paranormal? Am I wrong? Like, I know.
You're flailing and frozen. All right, you're back now. Just don't do this part.
I know. I'm sorry. I got to sit on my hands then. Okay, but does that make sense to you?
It does. It does. I feel like you're being cautious, or trying to be cautious, and you're slowing your roll a little too much.
No, I think I just don't want to come at him like I came at you earlier today, because that just
people love that shit. Nobody here is going to be offended because, well, I don't think.
Adam's like, what the hell did I walk into?
Yeah. So, yes, there's a lot happening in the moment right now.
Yeah. Well, I feel like this is where I just need, like, I guess what I'm looking for when I ask these questions is this. I'm asking for us to not justify why you're doing what you're doing right now. I ask for, okay, like when you watch a movie and you know it's completely unbelievable, so you disengage from reality so you can just, you know, engage in that moment. I'm asking to sort of do the same thing. I'm not asking you to dump beliefs completely. I'm not asking you to never do what you're doing again. I'm not asking you to abandon anything that you know that you're doing. I'm asking for the sake of a conversation, because if I'm wrong, I'm just wrong, and you're going to go back to doing what you're doing and whatever, right? But what about, right, if we just have these conversations and we start to talk about really what it means? And I know that for me, how I am looking at a lot of this now after how many years, you know, because there was a Sarah before Get Hunted. There was a Sarah before 4 years ago. I know. I wasn't
just nobody until you met me.
Well, I was. This is true, but I was doing my thing. So I have gone through many phases of paranormal. I do not hold one aspect of the paranormal and say this is the hill I'm dying on, because hell no, it's not.
You change hourly.
Sometimes,
yeah.
Sometimes.
And I think that's healthy, right? So I'll just get caught up on a couple comments. So, you know, Laura believes in doing history on locations. That's something that we get a lot of crap for, Laura, because, well, if you're going to stick around, you'll eventually find out. And I know you've been here before. But, you know, and it is part of what we talk about during the Inner Eye is, you know, that history and those stories can sort of skew how you perceive a paranormal experience, because now you're front loaded with information, and instead of interpreting something as not something in your control, you are trying to control the story by putting it in the box that the story built, right? Or the history. And then 5 years later, you find out, oh, shit, that's not even true. Or that never happened here. And then what? Now it's a paranormal experience that either you manifested based on the story, or it's a story that was completely misinterpreted, or a paranormal experience that was completely misinterpreted. Doesn't make the experience invalid. It makes the interpretation of it not exactly accurate. Hey, Stephen.
Listen, I here's what I will say. I do believe that every piece that everybody is doing is important in the paranormal.
Yeah.
Hands down. And I'll just keep it super real with you. Laura, I have never, like, history class. I can remember my Texas history book was this thick, and I'm not even lying. It was the biggest history book I've ever freaking seen in my life. It was huge.
Texas.
And I remember thinking, like, no, I'm not interested. I'm not going to remember it all. Right.
Yeah.
But that brings me to, right, what we don't learn from history, we will continue to repeat. Yet for us, why do we keep repeating history? Why do we not learn from the history? Why does the paranormal that's reacting or interacting with us, why does it need to, why do we think it's always just repeating history? Now, I get that. Put aside the residual hauntings that we think happen. But why do we think, especially when something traumatic has happened at these locations, why do we think they have to replay that? Why do they not love their life more than their death, that they just repeat the death? And we just guess that, well, because that traumatic, incident is imprinted.
They don't know they're dead. I love that one. So Laura, no. So let me ask you, Laura, why do you 100% like dig into the history before an investigation? Type it out in the chat. Let us know.
Yeah, because it's not a right or wrong answer. Like, I'm telling you, I don't memorize that stuff very well. So for me to come in like a historian doesn't work. Brittany is amazing at that, and I love when somebody can remember that stuff. I've never been good at memorize. Like, I sucked at my test for history. That was an instant D when they used to have Ds. Hey, Bianca. So, and I get that we use it for validation, but why do we think we need history to validate the paranormal? Why do we think we need that? Oh, charming.
That's nice.
That's really nice.
These are the nicest bunch of people.
The hell?
That show up. What are you, 14, Ryan? Dork.
Charming.
Go back and play Call of Duty.
Yeah, and Adam, I love like when people love history. I think that is one reason people do come to the paranormal. This is not me slamming one thing or another. Can you just get them gone? Because that's ridiculous. Like,
oh, wait, is he back with more?
Yeah.
Why don't you come find me?
Oh my God. Well, there's a big man or woman that likes to write crude things while people are having a conversation. Good for you. Congratulations along with 100,000 other idiots that are on internet.
Yeah. Good job. And good luck finding it while you're peeing.
So Angelina, you're right? Like, because claims need a baseline, but Angelina, but baseline for what? Paranormal is not historical, right? It's not historical.
Yeah. No, I think this actually one day should be.
No, I love that. I love that, Angela. I'm not necessarily saying you're wrong, but I guess, again, like, why do we need a baseline of history in order to have paranormal experiences now? That's all I'm asking. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying that couldn't be the straight up answer. But why do we need that baseline? Why do we discredit what we could be getting now
Yeah.
that really doesn't have anything to do with history?
That's a good question.
I don't know. What do you think about that, Angelina? Like, you're right. Like, I do believe there are some things that we catch that you're like, okay, this is what is historically accurate to this business or to this location. And that's great, right? But so then do we think paranormal experiences are just simply repeats and they're not personal experiences at all?
So thank you. There it is. This is what the hell I've been trying to find the words for.
Right.
Right. So, and that's what I was trying to kind of allude to when I was talking, about how Kent, right. So there's that weird investigative side. It's not weird, but there's that investigative side, right? Where we're handing the stories and the paranormal and whatever's happening happens over there, and we're just witnesses to it, right? Rather than it being perhaps something much bigger and much more tied to us and our own being, which is where I think, viewing paranormal. So just so this makes a little more sense, part of what I talk about during my piece of the inner eye is, your awareness or your filter, right, can skew exactly what we're talking about, right? It can skew a paranormal experience by filling in all these gaps, right? Which is, and those gaps are there because we don't know certain parts of certain stories. But what we do know is that history that we looked up. So Angelina, to your point, the little girl died here. A guy was on fire and died here. So if I'm smelling bacon and hear a little girl crying, it's a little closer to that story, right? But, if it's something else, somebody puts on your shirt, or, a cat ball goes flying, we're automatically going to tie that paranormal activity, experience, whatever you want to call it, to the little girl and the burnt up guy.
I just want to Adam know, like we're seeing your questions. We're not ignoring you. So I
I'm
love
not
that.
ignoring you. I'm trying to piece this together. It's my Rob's doing here.
But here's the thing. But here's the other thing.
You're getting lectured by Stacy.
Okay, Stacy. But here's the thing. But aren't you proud that I'm doing this on my own too, Stace? Like, I'm coming to some conclusions here for myself. Not conclusions. I'm coming to some new paths of thinking. But I think that the other thing is we often forget, right? Not all history is recorded. So you're only sticking with the history that somebody's got at a library or in a book or in the town square. But what about all the history that just wasn't important enough, or it wasn't exciting enough, so therefore it was never written down somewhere, or it wasn't written down in a public book for people to see? I mean, we can say history all day long, but you're sticking with history that somebody else decided was important enough, right?
Yeah.
We're not talking about, and I did share a very personal story with you earlier. We all have, I know, Adam, get used to me freezing. We all have traumas in our life, right? We all have things that have happened in our life that are very personal and very traumatic and dramatic and horrifying. And, I have some of that history in my family. And why doesn't that trauma leave a mark at a location, right? Just because it's not written down somewhere, or somebody in town didn't start the rumor, doesn't mean that there's not something there. If we're going to go with trauma leaves a mark, right, and can replay, well, what, only certain trauma, only war trauma, only, I mean, how many car accidents happen? Like, what are the stats on car accidents? Pretty big, right? And sometimes we see the crosses on the side of the road, right? And people will say, well, that's where, like Dead Man's Curve. Well, that's where Johnny was. Hey, Jason, that's where Johnny was driving erratically around the curve and he died. And now he walked there. You know, you can see him walking there every third Thursday. Well, do you know how many people get killed in a car accident?
Oh, lots.
Yeah.
Sandy's here too.
Hey, Sandy.
I'm trying to keep up with all of this right now. People are talking. So Bianca, and that's exactly, I think, the point, right? I think more often than not, there's no historical context to an experience.
Mm-hmm.
I think when we know too much of the history, we tend to try to tie those things together as investigators and as human beings. We want to, we want to make sense of these things that do not make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean it wasn't real because there was no history, right? That's why I always tell people that we can probably go to McDonald's, right? A non-haunted McDonald's, which I think they're all haunted at this point.
Well, if they're feeding us people, then probably yes.
and do an investigation and get results. I just believe that, and I don't think it's because. So if we did that, right, it's not really because of the history of that McDonald's. It's because of many things. Adam Sherfy, my brother, always told me, especially last year when he wants to go to these places experience something, but he doesn't care about the history. I think the history is more giving us an idea what we are walking into, but versus just to say, I've been and I can't stand people either. But so and we also are not stating that history is not important. In my mind, it's probably better to look at the history at the end, right? So, the NRI, we're doing four events at one location, and at the end of the fourth one, we'll talk about some of the history there. How much cooler is it to get all of your evidence and experiences together and then come after it from a historical perspective to see if maybe those things tie together? Or perhaps, we don't know who's got somebody hitchhiking with them, if you want to call them hitchhikers or whatever they are, guardian angels, who knows?
I agree, Angelina.
What?
She says paranormal claims repeat the same tropes. And I do agree with that. I think we get very comfortable, and I did witness this a little bit on the Wednesday live, because it did bother some people that I was looking to ask different questions. And what we start to do, I mean, and this is me. Hey, Chris. Like, okay, kind of like when Rob and I are trying to have a conversation, and let's say I say this one word that just for him, it stands out, and then he kind of stops listening, and then he kind of picks out certain things and then creates a little bit of a narrative. I do the same thing. I'm just using this as an example.
Wow, are you fighting already?
No, but we do this in everyday life, right?
Yeah,
we only hear what we want to hear. There's scientific data out there that when we read, we don't even read full words, right? We get a couple letters and we just decide, and we can read the sentence. They have those things all the time on Facebook where it will be like, they place letters in a certain way, and can you read this sentence? And most of the time we can, because we're already creating the story. So exactly the opposite of remote viewing, which is, don't create the story. Don't let your mind go, I already know what this is.
Yeah.
And you start to create the story. It's let the data come. Then you can go back and see if what you got hit the target.
1,000%, right? And in Stacy's course, I use this line. I stole this from him a long time ago, with remote viewing at least. And I think with everything, the minute you think you're right, you're wrong. Or the minute you think you know what it is, you're wrong. I think that it's presumptuous. I think it's a sort of, it can be a pat on your own back when you want to. I understand the desire to take a paranormal experience and say, look, that's because of this story that happened here. But I also think you're shortchanging yourself and the paranormal altogether. It's holy cow comments.
I know. Adam, and here's the thing. I just so you know, Adam, I saw you said you said you appreciated all we're doing, pretty much accepted us into this community. First of all, we didn't accept you into the community. You are the community. And I think this is the piece that I guess for me, as somebody who's rarely felt inside the circle.
Who said that?
Adam said that.
Oh, I missed it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get Adam. You just gotta break your shit up a little bit. So
Adam's like, oh my God, we're here, we're talking. I get it, Adam. I hear you.
Wait, I'm gonna come back. So we're all going. See, I can't see myself, Adam, and we know what happens when I can't see myself. And
what, you gotta see yourself?
The show's even worse.
Yeah.
We're going down the Bell Witch Cave. So you'll be with Todd and Leanne probably, who are friends of ours.
Yes.
So that's cool. You're gonna have fun. More about the people who does a lot. That does really nice, generous. Appreciate y'all doing pretty much. Yeah. Hey, it's listen.
Yeah. You're the community.
We appreciate you. Believe me. Blah blah blah. What did I do? This one. Oh, history lets you separate cultural storytelling from actual documented.
Cultural.
Oh, Angelina.
Cultural.
Oh, it's cultural storytelling.
Oh, cultural. Well, now I did touch on that a little bit. And I do. I touched on it a little bit at the beginning.
You did.
And Stace, you're here, so hear me out. All right. Just hear me out on this. Because Stace, you are very much an encyclopedia about multiple cultures and there are multiple practices and beliefs. But why do we accept things from the beginning, but we expect evolution on other things? I need to understand why we don't say, okay, here are some pieces, because kind of like Susan said in the beginning, it's all about predictability and control. So somebody, before they had the opportunity to talk about all these, the philosophers out there, the people who were probably the crazy people in the villages because they had big thoughts and questions, right? Why do we not expand on those cultures and practices? Because most of those were all put in place for control, just like religion, for control, because you can't have people running amok, right? So
yeah,
why do we not accept the evolution of some of those cultural practices? What if that's what paranormal is trying to tell us? Like, oh my God, stop saying things from 200 years ago. We're past that. You guys are now in 2026 and have more capability today than they did 200 years ago. You know, even though they don't know time and space. Why are we not allowing ourselves? Why do we hinge on every single thing from centuries ago? No, Angelina, thank you. Thank you. It doesn't, but we do. So how do we come as students? How do we come as students to the paranormal? When do we say, if we're going to do something that is so unpredictable and so not provable as the paranormal, why do we demand the patterns?
Why? Well, I think there's this need to be right for some, right? Like I was saying in the beginning, like, oh, I cracked the case, I proved it. There we go. you know, I don't know what it's going to get anybody. Oh yeah, I do. It's going to get you nothing, probably. Laura believes some religions are control, but I don't believe all religion are control. Okay. Stacy, the understanding of history as fact is very new. In history, it was written as poetry. Think the Odyssey by Homer. And Jason's all about, he just wants to hear the tell fun ghost stories. Well,
I love that piece too.
Yeah. And we do that all the time. But I think, you know, I'm going to be quiet.
Okay, but Angelina just said this. Maybe it hits harder when it's wrapped in age. However, we act like we honor the history, but then we kind of shit on it. We don't really like, here are the cultures, here are the practices, but I'm going to do this because this dude on TV or this big YouTuber said, or this big social media platform person who has 1.2 million followers says this is how it is. So we're just like, So what, you know, like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I feel like you remember when they used to say paranormal was fringe? And that's not even, fringe isn't even fringe anymore.
No, it's not.
Right.
But I guess also, so it's not all he wants. It's not all Jason wants to do, but that's the basics. But I guess, right. So Jason, I know you're a Newkirker, right? And I know there's big discussions happening over there too. So why is that? Why is this different?
What do you mean? Why is this different?
Why is this discussion different than that? Right? Like, what I think that breaking things down and picking them apart and putting them back together, maybe sometimes in a different order, can lead to bigger realizations. I'm not going to use the word understanding, because I don't think anybody here on this planet in this realm will ever truly understand what is really happening when it comes to paranormal or paranormal experiences. I think we can understand our interpretation a little bit better by understanding ourselves and why we may see something, hear something, or feel something in a certain way. I keep scaring myself with my own hand. Amen to that, Adam. Amen to that. All right, another book. Angelina uses both the old history and what's happening right now in her investigations. The past gives you the foundation, who lived there, what the building was, what actually happened. But the present tells you how the location has changed, how people interact with it now, and what activity is actually happening today. You can't understand a place by only looking backward or only looking at the moment. The truth shows up when you compare the two. Sorry for the long post. The perceived truth, Angelina, right? Because once again, right, if you're looking at the past, you are claiming, you're already stating that something happened in this location a long time ago. So I guess now my question to you, Angelina, is, can only places that have had some kind of big ordeal or tragedy happen at, can those be the only haunted places on the planet? Right? Because if we're going to take history as a big factor or an ingredient to this pie, then there had to be something that happened, right? Otherwise, there's no paranormal history, right? Every place and everything has a history, but there's no paranormal history. So if there's no prior story, then how does being in the moment, right, and observing what's happening in the moment at any given place, then how does that? I don't understand how that cake bakes. Perceived truth, yes, perceived truth, interpreted truth.
Adam and Angelina are gonna go in a competition for who can do some long ass comments, which we love.
Understand what happens to us prior from Earth, and that's what people want, right? So I mean, straight out of the gate, right? We were on, we're on a quest with no definitive answer in sight, right? There just isn't. So then, for me, right? For me, a lot of the infighting and the stupidity we see online, hey, James, comes from that being right or wrong about, that whole notion that you can be right or wrong about a paranormal experience. If you've watched us at all or look at our pages, we don't question people's experiences. Like, it's not our place. We don't sit there and pick people's experiences apart. I know how I would feel. I know how I
felt.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And people have and do pick my shit apart, and it's fine, but it's not something you can prove, and it's not something you can disprove. So arguing about it is one of the dumbest fucking things on the planet.
Well, I don't think we share to prove. We're not saying we're sharing experiences, because when you share them, when it resonates with somebody else, it allows them the space to also, right, speak up. And I love this question, Laura, because boy, that was another thing that I talked about today.
Yeah, it is. Laura, is Laura your...
Yeah, Laura, you're in my head. I think she's in my head. Thoughts on reenacting what happened at a location to get activity, and this is something that I do have in all my notes for the next Inner Eye. But why do we reenact what? Let's I don't want to assume what you're saying here, Laura. So explain to me, what is one thought, or what reenactment would you want to do? Are you talking reenact a war scene in Gettysburg, or what exactly are you talking about with reenacting?
So, and we do get into some of this in the Inner Eye with emotional imprints, and then there's sort of environmental imprints, right? You go to a battlefield like Gettysburg, and you feel it, you just know, you feel something, right? But again, if you didn't know, and all those fucking cannons weren't there, and the statues of Lee and Grant and all those things, it was just another field, would you feel the same way? I don't know. Some people would, some people might not.
Well,
all right, I'm just starring these damn things. Go
okay,
ahead.
but I want to kind of, so this with reenacting what happened in a location, let's go with, do we all believe when you're reenacting something in a location, are we assuming if activity comes after that reenactment that it's intelligent? I'm curious, because if we think it's intelligent, why would it only respond to a traumatic event or a historic, this is what we talked about. People in these locations lived a full life on many occasions. They had things they loved. They had things they disliked. They had successes and failures. They had, family. They built their own family. They had friends. They had fun memories. They had big laughs. They had big cries. That we focus in on one thing that is let's be super real here. In the paranormal, most locations we go to all hinge on something completely and utterly tragic. I mean, it's just what we do, right? It's the ambiance, it's the atmosphere. So we go in there, and am I really to believe that if this is intelligent energy that is coming through, that it's not going, oh my God, stop replaying the moment I was murdered, or stop replaying the moment I was killed tragically, right? Why are we not bring up things that maybe, if you know my history, if you dig into history, then dig into other parts of their life. Maybe they discovered something, maybe they created something, maybe they were writers. I don't know. But why do we as investigators hone in on tragic instead of the lived life? We talk about respect. We have to respect the spirit. We must respect their they were once a living person. Now, when you were murdered, we go right into something horrifying. How is that respectful? Like, again, these are just questions I'm asking because I'm guilty of it as well. It makes me stop and go, what the hell are we going to accomplish by being so contradictory to every single thing we say, but then do something else? And we don't stay consistent, and we say one theory, and then we investigate with a completely opposite theory, wanting to get results. So I guess at this point, if we can't be aware of what we're doing ourselves, how are we truly aware of what the paranormal is that's coming through? Am I going too far?
No, you're fine. You're fine. These are just really big topics, and I do think we need to literally create a whole little series here, right? And break this down, because we're on some stuff. So Adam, right? And this is going to take us off on another tangent. So Adam thinks that when he went to see Annabelle at Rock Island, the Annabelle doll especially gave him a real bad vibe, and he believes that the demons want the attention it gives more power. And we'll give these.
Oh, Adam. I don't even know. I can't even touch on that one because.
Yeah, we're going to wait on that. Adam, we're going to do a whole show on this one. One night when Sarah's feeling spicy after some eggs and sausage.
No, because it's such a good point, Adam. And I think this is the other problem we've talked about before. Where does that story truly come from? And where is the proof that is actually happening?
Well, that, and Adam, I know the room, right? I know the room you were in. I've been around Annabelle quite a bit, and she honestly never bothered me. But think about this, Adam, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but think about this piece, right? Because she is the most famous, but you were in a room full of some crazy ass shit that day. And those other dolls and artifacts seem to get forgotten, right? She steals the show, just like Sarah does when we're doing an event. It's all about Sarah, and Rob's not even there anymore. So what happens? So let's see. I'm not going to touch that one. Here comes Bianca. I'm choking. They will often bring up things they know about the living and what is currently happening in the present. They know everything on the other side. It's truly amazing. So again, right? If they're aware on the other side of what's happening, what's going on, why are they stuck in one particular room, right? And how are they getting this information? So there are these all-knowing beings, right? But in some stories and at some locations, so-and-so can't leave that room. He can't leave that room, but he can do all these other magical things.
But what if not? Maybe it's not that the doll itself has the demon, but maybe it's the living who wants your attention on that doll. And I don't mean the living and who controls Annabelle, but the narrative itself creates talking points for and against all day long. We've seen it, right? You either vehemently hate this doll and she is just a big joke, or you completely believe the doll and it sort of becomes woven into your tapestry. I think this is where we don't know truly what's living made right? And and I think this is where stories begin to take over instead of, what if Annabelle really was just a mirror? What if these items were there to amplify, to give you, if you wanted to know, if you were willing to stand and be still and say, I'm here, what is it I need to see? I think stories, we are naturally attracted to stories. Those stories give us a path. Those stories give us hope and faith. Those stories begin to become a natural validation instead of just saying, I don't know. You know what? I'm doing remote viewing. I don't know what the hell this is, but this is what I'm getting. And it's meant for you to get the information, not to create the story, but to listen for just 5 seconds. And it might point you in a different direction. Did that make sense?
Yes. And to everybody that's saying they don't believe, I'm not saying you think they're stuck, but this is a story I've heard at many, many, many locations. I've done, I don't know how many, dozens and dozens. Mm-hmm. And in a lot of locations, there's always one room, right? There's one room that something's in, but it can't leave. And and I'm not gonna, up until 2000 or 2022, I didn't question that. I really didn't question that. Actually, 2021 started questioning that. Like, I was just like, wait, fuck, because crazy shit was happening all over the place. I think Stacy and his wisdom is complimenting you here. Sarah, your question is the dichotomy between the practices and the paranormal, and how things worked in spiritism during seances. Higher lessons are more important than names or events. And I would toss in history there too, right? And I think that Stacy is sort of the underlying, the foundation of what the inner eye is. It's why we're not doing the history piece until the end. I stop people from going online and Googling that shit, but we're not talking about it. And as Stephen mentioned, there's been some pretty crazy shit happening. And what I don't want to do is tie that to any of the history, at least not yet, at the lodge. I don't think it's the time. In the end, just like an RV session or 3, right? You don't do the analysis until the end. You don't do the analysis until you can't be 100%, 99.9% certain or sure that you have removed all of the muck, all the things, the preconceived crap that goes into creating a full story. Hold on.
And Brittany, just so you know, I love, because Brittany, I get it. Like, and I'm not saying that she is a man-made haunting. And I'm glad this is not pointed at any person. I have nothing. But my question would be to you, Brittany, because I would ask myself this, and I have asked myself this, and I do believe this is where, after all the things that I've studied, after all the things I've experienced, after all the different situations I have tried to navigate here, if you believe that she is, I'm going to see exactly what she said here, because I want to be able to see. I don't believe that. Let's see.
Who? Wait.
This is Brittany. Get batty with Brittany. I've experienced Annabelle, and I personally do not think she is a man-made haunting. I don't call her a demon by any means. Right. And I know that because I don't think that you do say that, and you absolutely have an opinion. But when we say, I don't believe she's man-made, like a man-made haunting, like, at what point do we stop exploring what it really could be? When do we stop exploring and just accept the story? Because the reality is many of us haven't had the opportunity to truly understand and experience her on a daily or even on a monthly or yearly, where we don't really have the sources to get in there and do controlled experiments. So Are we relying on the story or to validate a belief? Like, this is for myself, just so everybody knows. This is not pointed at anybody. I do this for myself.
We need a little campfire thing in the middle.
Yeah.
So everybody and you need to have a glass of wine, and we need cheese and crackers. These are literal just brainstorming sessions, if you will.
Like,
at least when we have these combos.
Like, do we rely on the story more than we realize? And what would happen? What would happen if you just said for one night as you're investigating, the story means nothing. Like, I'm going to really try to detach as much as you can from a story. And I just want to see, like, what would be the harm in it? What's the biggest harm in that suddenly your mind changed and what you had believed that whole time might not have actually been what you believed? And then what though? But then what? Doesn't that mean evolution? Doesn't that mean transitioning?
It does, but that's a very painful thing. And in 2022, when you spun me around, like it was a fucking lot. You sit there, you just sit there, and everything that I thought I believed in and thought was real and thought was, I had figured out where it made sense, was now just not. Angelina says, when there's proof that objects are haunted, then I will believe. So you're never going to believe, Angelina. And so this is where I'm going to challenge Angelina here a little bit. I know you're religious.
Challenge. Fight.
Religious. And to this day, in 2026, my opinion is there's no proof of God either. So how do we have a belief in God in the classical sense, but this staunch disbelief?
She's like, oh, I regret coming on tonight.
In a haunted object or anything. I think everything's haunted to some degree, right? D Hoot's calling her a vessel, right? But what is she a vessel of? You know, for me, before I ever went in and met that doll, I was like, nope, not giving it to you. I've had enough shit. And she does have very good storytellers behind her, and so does God. Because the Bible is a story, just so everybody knows. It was not written by God. It was written by man, and it's not infallible. And there are massive pieces of it missing. And we have this nicely modified version of it today.
We talked about that, Brittany, just so you know. We did talk about that. A lot of history is not even the history that,
Adam Sherfy, what is your point of view on this? If you took a picture of Annabelle, do you believe that a dog can go through the picture?
I had lots of pictures of her, and I don't know. I know.
Yeah, I haven't had any issues. Not yet.
I mean, that's just our experience. That doesn't. We also I think we kind of are like, might not believe that story, but also not willing to test it, right? Because you don't, because we're never saying we know. We don't know.
Oh, we don't know.
And saying you believe or don't believe something also doesn't state that you have certainty about anything. I can say I don't believe in something right now all day long, but I am not certain that I am correct. It's just my choice to say I don't believe.
And she's rarely correct. I'm just kidding. Laura wanted to be. I'm trying to catch up, kids, because Sarah's talking, and I'm like,
well, you told me to open up.
I wanted to be the first person to discover how to communicate with residual hauntings. Maybe you already are, and you don't realize it. Here's Jason McGray. If a negative energy from an object or not wanted to affect us, do we think we would always be able to tell? And no, I don't. Right. And because I do think that some are amplifiers. Okay. So we're already working with something familiar. Right. And then it just gets worse and worse and worse. And people are too easy to research.
How would you know if it, because here's what happens. these stories become so grand, right? And I'll tie this into what Angelina's saying, and I agree with you, Angelina. You do not have to believe in God, or you do not. I think that's how you said it. I just want to make sure. Who needs to hear that? You don't got to prove. Yeah, you don't have to prove God to believe in Him. And I understand. She went to Girls Weekend, and
Yeah,
I do
know,
understand
but,
that.
like, why are boys excluded from this?
Because this is for girls, okay? Girls only. Because girls can have a weekend.
Because I add to the conversation quite a bit.
But to that point, to Jason's point and to Angelina, so we don't know. So I think what ends up happening is there are other contributors that can affect your life, and some aren't even notable, like an Annabelle or a very famous haunted object. So what do we tend to do? We go to the easier situation. And I believe, doesn't mean I'm right, but I believe that we will go to something that takes a lot of the accountability from us, and we will place it on something like a haunted object because we don't want to deal with what we can fix because, well, that's uncomfortable. So let's blame it on something that we don't even have to prove. We can just say, well, I was with Annabelle, and guess what? My life sucks now. I don't know.
Okay. All right, Angelina. And you're saying that to me. You can say, hey, Rob, I don't know if you need to hear this. But the same can be said for anything, my friend. And that's my point, right? Like, so maybe you're missing my point. I'm not knocking your beliefs in scripture, God, whatever. Scripture is really the description of God in godly ways. So it's like we pick 6'7", girl, 6'7".
Sick. Oh, but Angelina. See,
Wait.
Angelina.
Is she? Am I far away? Wait, is there a new one? I don't.
Yeah, there's a new one. But see, now Angelina, God is faith, but that is old faith. That is beginning of time faith. And guess what? There are people today that have used stories that have been put out there as stories of miracles and faith. Right? So you can call God faith and that haunted objects are not, but to you, they're not. What if you go to a culture, right? What if you go to a cult, like Stacy, if you're still here, help me out. What if you go to a culture that isn't part of the Christian world?
Yeah.
And they have faith in a relic, a statue made out of clay. Right? Then what?
Yeah. Then what? All right. Adam and I we're going camping. And dude, my name is right there on the goddamn screen.
Well, you can't see it because you cover it up every time you bring up.
I guess King James was a douche, according to Brittany. Not my words. And I'm not hating. Concur us. Okay. All right.
Right. I think, but these are the things. And then let's also talk about this. Can we just talk about this for a second? Because Angelina, because you are so faithful, and it's one thing that I truly respect. It is one thing I truly respect of Angelina. I love.
She drops F-bombs every.
Yeah. Well, she's human. She knows that. She is definitely human. So I know. I hope are you on any kind of pain meds, Angelina? So let's think about this for a second. We have people in the paranormal, and we tend to listen to those that have been given authority by the masses, right? So you've been on TV X amount of time, or you have a YouTube series and it's got multi-million followers. Okay. So that kind of becomes a little bit of the authority, right? But when we talk about Jesus and where he came from, he didn't put in any kind of particular time. He was just citing messages. He was out there teaching. And same with a lot of philosophers from centuries ago. They were not somebody that, by the way, weren't even schooled. They were just willing to speak in public.
So was Aleister Crowley.
Oh, don't even get me started on that, dude.
We will go there tonight.
Do not get me started on Aleister Crowley. But again, there's another guy. a rich kid, a kid who inherited so much effing money, he was just out there looking to figure out who the hell's going to kiss his feet. Like, we could learn, like, go listen to the history of Aleister Crowley, and there are things there that, why do we follow some but not others? We can believe in Jesus, we can believe in the Christian religion, but then, right, something similar can be happening. There could be a new messenger, there could be multiple new messengers, not putting them on Jesus level, but a messenger is a messenger. What does it matter what they look like or what credentials they have?
Listen.
Oh my God, there's so much in my head.
Or if they're a member of the Get Haunted Network.
That discredits them right there.
Yeah. So Adam, I'm with you on this. I do believe that,
Amen.
It's all different stories, different books. If you boil it all away, right? It is the belief in a higher power. No matter what it is. What the fuck?
I'm sorry, Angelina. Oh my God.
Messenger, all right. We
Aleister,
knew that. Bianca,
what's that?
We knew you were back.
She's back. Bianca's back.
Yeah, it's okay. No, it's okay. I am a messenger. I deliver a lot of messages. Some of my messages are meant to be private, but they're not. Right? That's how much of a messenger I am. I'm fucking world renowned for my messages.
So, again, none of this is questioning any single one of you. None of this is saying you're wrong. None of this is about saying I know. This is where I go when we start to really, because I see so much conviction, I see so much passion put behind beliefs. But what if the paranormal, just work with me for 1 second. Amen, Debbie. We are all messengers with our knowledge. What if
look at the little baby over there.
What if the paranormal is for us to set aside our beliefs to say, you know what?
There it is.
We don't know. We don't know. I don't know. And it's about the exploration. Why is that so scary? Because if you're wrong, if I'm wrong, or if the questions are wrong and I've been just beating around the whole, then I'm wrong. But I don't understand.
Well, see, this is part of the problem, right? People don't want to be wrong, right? Which is why one of the reasons I think they do try to tie so much of the history of a location to a paranormal experience. They want that thing. And I think that might be what Susan Ahern was going after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So look, you're getting kudos from
Angelina. I do have some good thoughts. I do get some good thoughts once in a while.
From the Holy Roller from Holyoke.
Like my notes are getting so vast because I'll sit here and then all of a sudden I'll just be like, holy shit. Like, wait a minute. My notebook, my spiral.
Your nodes. I'm like,
no, my
nodes.
notebook. But I do start to wonder, like, all we do is repetitive. We are very repetitive. I get the patterns. I get that. And we need the patterns. But if we're going to just keep repeating, we're never going to move forward. So certainty stops it and curiosity moves you forward. So we all can sit here and say, let's be curious, but we got to keep it to the certainty. Like, how do we say it's what?
What if this is what if each one of us, our role after we're gone is to replace the residual haunt?
Oh, Angelina, yeah. Welcome to service with your pastors.
Yes. Yeah. So we'll send the Venmo for your, we do it all online now for your.
Stacy, it can. I agree. Paranormal could be a gateway, but it could also be a gate, period. Closed gate. Because, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier, which is, God, I hope I don't just lose this thought here. We are we are stopping ourselves from truly having greater experiences because we rather repeat than reflect. And I'm curious, and if it's just that, well, this is who I like, I get the whole we want to be accepted, so we kind of go to, oh, this resonates with me, and now I'm accepted into this group, and this is great. And you and I have talked about this on multiple occasions. One reason why many people, well, there's a lot of reasons why people don't like us, but one reason they don't like us, right, is because we're like, hey, whatever your belief is your belief. Like, we love that.
I don't give a shit. Like, I really don't. It does not bother me. Unless you're mean about it. If you're a dick about it, then yeah, I'm gonna get a little snarky with you. It's how Rob rolls. It's just what I do. In the basket, Debbie's not. No, we don't take Canadian money anyway. Right?
I was there, Adam. I was absolutely there in October. Yeah, and Brittany, I get it. Like, it's, and I'm not, here's my thing for me is, I guess if we believe, I just think I love beliefs and we all come with beliefs, but what is wrong with exploring outside of your belief to understand if there's something more? Because belief doesn't mean certainty. Belief is just something to say, yes, I believe that, but are you saying I believe that and there's no other way? Because what if there was another way? What if an actual, let's just say an actual apparition that was provable all of a sudden just sat in front of your face and said, you know what? Yeah, you're not right. Right. And it's not that you're right or wrong. You haven't gotten here yet. And this is what I'm telling you. Like, this is now, right. You have to do ecstasy in order to see ghosts.
Oh, sign me up. That's why I see so many.
You know, what if, like, I like, so do we defend so much our beliefs that we just can't? I don't know. I'm asking because for me, well, I don't know. I think as I've gotten older, I think I've really started to let go of, I know things that I've experienced. I know what the experience was. Does that mean it was 100% in touch with my belief or that it was 100% real? I can just say it's my experience. Yeah. And I think that's what as I've gotten older, right? Maybe. Yeah, if we let everyone have their own experiences. I agree. Yeah, I have and nobody's saying anybody's wrong. I think it's just about finding conversations. And if for me, if I am somebody, and I have been, and it's been the staple of Get Haunted for 4 years, allowing people to share, to speak, to offer, right? I've always witnessed and observed. I've always held that space. But if I ask questions, it becomes a little bit of why would you do that? Well, because this is who I am. So, you know, it's why I said sometimes I feel like I'm outside of that circle because I'm not necessarily relating to every aspect, but I 100,000% believe in the paranormal, which I think is more normal than ever. And I believe the experiences that people share. And when they share those vulnerable moments, I honor that 1,000%, 1,000%. But you can't also give someone else authority over your experiences. And I don't take authority over yours. Therefore, you can't take authority over mine, right? So we're just here to share because we don't know. There might be something I ask that somebody that never speaks goes, oh, you know what? Yeah, wait, that resonates. Or somebody might go, fuck off. And they have, and it's fine. You know, what?
I'm just reading.
If man never challenged himself and thought outside the box, we'd still be living in caves. Thank you, Bill. Beliefs are wild.
You can put comments up too, girl. Making me do it all.
Yeah, and the haunted doll thing, right? Like, I think that for me, that's, people have experiences, right? But we don't know if haunted items also, this is what we just don't know. Just like you have this belief in God and the Catholic religion, there are people who truly have faith in these haunted items.
Yeah.
And so who are we to say? Who are we to say that? How do you know that's not God working through the haunted items? How do you know that it's not an aspect of religion that comes through because that's how the person's going to receive a message? And what if those messages get clouded by the stories that we put out there because we need things to be sensationalized and oversold instead of being the experience it was meant to be?
Correct. Yes.
Does that make sense, anybody?
Yes.
Am I pissing people off right and left? I mean, not too many because
I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow. We'll find out tomorrow.
Well, listen, you're right. So if you want to hug Annabelle, I think that's great. I have no problem with that, right? And vice versa. I know, yeah, she definitely, Brittany, you've allowed people to have their experiences. That I do not disagree with at all. Right? I never knock anyone for believing in anything as long as they know there's a power greater than themselves. And I am 1,000% with you, Angelina. I believe that universe, God, whatever you want to call the main dude, absolutely higher power, higher being, higher creator of all. Yes, I do feel, although we are all in the ecosystem, there it starts somewhere. Absolutely. Night, Adam. Thank you for coming by. There's just, what are you reading? Are we interrupting you?
No, I was just billed for something and I wanted to make sure I wasn't getting ripped off.
Okay. Well, okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Nothing. I'm sorry. I didn't say anything. I didn't get a thought out.
Okay.
I didn't get that thought out.
Yeah, it was a fair amount of money. So I was like, I needed to make sure. It came through PayPal, but I'm okay. Yeah. It's okay. It was
I'll hug her. I'll hug her. Yeah. I mean, again, right? Maybe Annabelle is not meant to resonate for everybody. Just like, okay, going to I'll be honest, when I go to the DIA, the Detroit Institute of Art, there are a couple pieces. There are a couple pieces that feel they're not spiritual and they're not religious in nature, but they do give me a very spiritual experience. And when I go, I always make sure that I stand in front of this one particular. I shared that painting with you. Yep. There's nothing really in it, although it's a haunting picture as far as I think the way it was painted, but that's not scary in general. It's a beautiful picture of sisters, but not everybody feels drawn to that. And maybe there's a reason why something resonates. And I don't know why we are okay with that when it comes to everyday life, but we also don't apply that to the paranormal world. So once again, I think in general, the paranormal was fringe and outside the box and crazy talk for how many years? And that was a place for people to say, I'm not buying this. I got to come over to this world so I can kind of really explore and expand. And now we're like, nope, zip tie it up. It needs to come back here. And we're going to super hard control it. And how dare you? How dare you don't believe this? Isn't the main concept of paranormal is we don't know shit. And we're all out here exploring the possibilities, not to solidify the belief. Could be, yeah, could be, absolutely. And it could be a haunted painting. I think you're talking about the painting, Jason. It absolutely, and maybe it's just that painting amplifies something for me.
For you personally, right?
Yeah.
Frequency and energy. It's not a one-stop box for us or them. No one has all the answers and experiences.
Amen.
We've always said that, and.
Amen.
The interpretation of those experiences becomes a big part of, I think, the headbutting that seems to happen, or why some people don't want to publicly share a thought or a picture or whatever, and that's sad, right? Because that is not how we grow the field, which I honestly not in my mission. I'm not here, and I'm pretty sure you're not here to make the paranormal like legitimate for the rest of the world and
No.
go on CNN and be like, look, this guy.
Well, isn't actual science even not legitimate to some people?
So, but what I do want is for people to feel legitimate and legitimately have these kind of discussions without it turning into a shit show. What? Which was part of what I had posted. That one, you actually shared it with me. As woman that was a scientist, like years, she was rejected. She never gave up. She kept going. A friend of ours posted today that he's had a rough go. And yeah, and I looked at some of the comments, and I'm talking about the paranormal. And people were like, "Yeah, I was thinking about stepping away. It's just not." Don't say like that's crazy to me. Like, why would you walk away from something because some people can't handle discussions? It's dumb to me.
Well, maybe we need to make it fringe again. Maybe this needs to be.
Yeah, let's kick everybody out.
It doesn't need to be popular.
Everyone put together your list and email them to info@gethaunted.com. Who you want out of the paranormal. We'll work hard on it. Angelina Rivera. Tomorrow I'm working out the first time. I'm going out the first time. So I gotta believe my nurse isn't gonna let me face it in public. So for the day, she's basically my higher power. See, that's a belief. We trust people all the time without proof, but somehow a haunted object needs a whole lot. Yeah, that's you. You want the goddamn truth. Jason saying yes, he was talking about the painting.
Yeah.
And that energy haunts you in a way that you want to view it. Yeah, that's exactly what we've kind of been saying here. Let's see, Sarah. Are you positive you didn't create that painting in a previous life? Coming from the one and only Stacy. Bill Murray, the Ark of the Covenant, its powers included leveling cities, Jericho, parting rivers, and inflicting deadly diseases or lightning strike destruction on its enemies. I've also been accused of those same things, Bill. Do you chime in? This conversation makes me wonder about experiences possibly from one's DNA. This is a discussion we've had. And possibly from one's previous life, which I think if that's the case, these things would be tied together in one way, shape, or form. And she's with you. And here comes extreme gravity. Have you considered that advertisements are a form of modern magic? They cast a spell of recall, so you remember an ad song. Yes, I believe so, because the goddamn Tender Vittles song it was in my head for like 2 days.
Yeah.
And the Meow Mix.
Yeah.
I love tuna, I love liver, I love chicken, please deliver.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Meow, meow,
Creep me out a little bit. But here's the thing. Yes, Dihu, and Jason, to your point, so that very statement, it's not modern magic. It's control. It is mind control. It is about controlling your patterns in your thoughts. So the very cultural practices and beliefs that have been put into place are simply advertisements to get you to go in certain directions and to not step outside of what actually could be happening. Because if we're going to talk about universe, I don't believe is divided up into cultures and, like, oh, okay, all the Jewish people are over here and all the Islamic people are over here and all the Christian people are over here. It becomes one giant, right, togetherness. So
where would the Polish people be?
well, the Polacks are off they'll never learn. The Polacks will never learn. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think this is where it's what I guess I'm trying to say. Why do we not? Why, if we are these fringe people, but what we see, the popular groups and celebrities and all these people, what we see is everybody going, oh, yep, I got to be in that camp. Instead of saying there is no camp, because nobody knows what the fuck camp we should be in, because we don't have a camp name yet, because we just don't know. The discovery hasn't happened. So yeah, I don't know. Yes, I agree, Dehu. You can't even think. Like, I think of something, and the next thing you know, I open up Facebook and it's like the first ad. It's like, I was just thinking of that thing.
Yeah,
I didn't even say it. Yeah. So I agree. We're probably all chipped in some way.
Oh, yeah. Well, now it'll just be Meow Mix ads.
We all suddenly have to go out and buy cat food.
Yeah, look, these are the fun conversations, right? These are the ones that go on for hours and hours and hours sometimes, and
they're just thoughts. They're just conversations, folks. And if a conversation can rock your belief system, then your belief system isn't as solid as you believe, right? So, because there are some people I know that are so very well faithful and so stern in their belief, you could tell them anything and they would tell you, no. The answer is no. I know this is my belief, and you're never going to change my mind. So when we, I think, get insecure about hearing a difference of opinion or a different thought, or somebody saying, hey, throw this into the mix, and it makes you go, oh, whoa, you should maybe, instead of looking at the person that said it or suggested it, and maybe sit back and go, but why did that just rock my world a little bit? What am I a little bit insecure about? Because maybe it's not that somebody else isn't validating me. Maybe it's that I really haven't validated myself, and that I'm just blind believing something. So I guess for me, not asking anybody else to do this, right? I think for me, I've just suddenly gone, yeah, no more blind believing. I can't just say, well, these 5 people have said this, because, and I'm going to keep it real here too, having a daughter who is an inorganic chemist, I'm going to tell you something, that's inorganic chemistry. She's working in particle synthesis, and things change. It is a constant. There are people who have gone with science, and scientists have said, yes, 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 yes. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, wait, that's wrong. Got to go back to something. Right. So you're not crazy. You're not crazy.
You might be a little off. We all are, though. Hold on, I'm putting her up.
Yeah, I love that, Tammy.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah,
listen,
agreed.
My Bologna has a first name.
He's crazy. I don't know.
I'm doing requests, okay?
You are. So, anyways, this is just some conversation. This is just a way to understand. I will always encourage each and every single one of you to do what you're doing. I love your passion. I love your convictions. I love that you stand strong. I do. I love all of that. But I think what I would love is to also feel like, because I do. That was weird. What the hell was that?
Am I back?
Yeah. What was that?
I don't know.
That was weird.
Frozen.
Both of my screens went right.
Yeah, both of mine too. It looked like we might have got hit by an EMP.
It was like bam. And they're like, and you're done. You've said enough.
Yeah. Listen, this is also how we shrink our friends lists. Without having to do the work.
What just happened? I know. I don't even know.
Everything froze. I had 2 spinny circly things.
Yeah, me too.
I think my Bologna did it.
there is no singing that song. Anyways, I just want to say thank you to the 14 of you 13 of you, whatever, however many of you that stayed. You stayed, you had the conversations. I give you my utmost respect. I love to be witness to what you are all doing. Yeah, Brittany, stop. I love what you all are doing. And I will forever passionately question everything, because I don't know. I feel like that might be, I love the questions. I love the questions. I love the interaction. And you guys give me so much to expand on. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
So thank you for quenching my thirst tonight.
Whoa. Listen, I have one question for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And you be honest and type it on the side.
Oh, God.
Whose ears? Did you ever see people that ears are connected? They don't have it. It's not like a
Oh yeah, that's the those are the people. You mean like those kids that murder?
Well, don't say that, because there's probably people on the side that have it.
We love you,
So
Debbie.
who on the side earlobes are not like loose like this, like flopping around?
Mine are flopping.
You've got floppers. Mine flop, but I think no microbe chat. I don't know what that means. Who, you missed your opportunity to eject somebody. So Adam, your ears are connected. See?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh no, you know what I'm talking about? Those kids that have the folded ears.
Yeah, those. Yeah, they're killers.
They're killers. Yeah.
Wait,
Floppers
what?
here.
A sinus hold? Atoms are attached. Adam, that means,
I don't know what does it mean.
I don't know what it means.
People have sinus holes in the front of their ears too. Oh my.
She really likes these little podcasts, and you have flappies too. Okay.
Yeah, the gauges probably change them, right?
Okay. Oh, you booted him? I booted him too. Fuck that guy. Adam, I thought you were leaving and going to sleep. Or are you going to do not modify your ears because of me?
Just look out for the black-eyed children.
Yeah,
that topic freaks me out too.
No, but I don't know if I'm frozen. You're frozen. Oh, you're back. Yeah, when they're connected, it makes me wonder how you get earrings.
Very easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's his question. I'm sitting here going, what? Yeah.
Preocular pits. Oh, that sounds terrible. Pre-auricular. That didn't sound right.
Somebody super glued their
earlobes to their cheeks. Had to end it on some humor. I don't know why I thought about that, but I did. That's just weird. In my head, I saw somebody with attached ears, and now
you had a moment. You just had a moment.
Oh,
maybe
thinking. See, that's what it's about, Adam. Clearly, that's all I do, because I haven't slept in like 3 days. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, it's a genetic thing.
Yeah, I don't want sinus holes in my ears. That sounds sick.
Yeah, we're gonna have to, Brittany. We'll talk more about that at the next dinner. All right. Well, thank you guys for expanding that conversation with me. There's more. I mean, the notes don't end. They just don't end. So
they never end.
They never end. So we'll talk more. So with that, and I'm just wearing a little, just so everybody knows, I was in this thought process. This is a scarf from my mom that I got after she passed. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm bringing back the do-rag and I'm going to wear my mom's scarf. I'm going to sit with some thoughts today. And they just came pouring out.
Dome. She's filling you with info.
Kathy is right there going, okay. All right. Well, with that, everybody, have a fantastic start to your week. Thank you for sharing this Sunday evening with us. And please, you have more thoughts, add them to the network, message us. It's okay. We love to talk. So that's what this is all about, folks. Expanding those conversations. We love talking. Oh God, there's this dinosaur. So with that, and Stephen Kometz, we have to tell you something, because I was like, oh, you know what, we need to talk to Stephen about this. So love to you, Tammy. Love to you, everyone. Thank you so much. You know what we say here on Get Haunted and Paranormally Blonde. We see you. Oh my God, we do. And we certainly appreciate you and know that we love you. Go in peace. Have an amazing Sunday night and go be passionate, people. It's what we love seeing. With that, peace out.